Would you rather have the ability to make one $15,000 film a year or make four $15,000 films each year and continue to make those films year by year by year by year? So indie filmmakers like us have got to put ourselves in the studio head's position. How can we do that? Now, I've noticed an unfortunate pattern in the indie film community. Many filmmakers use money they don't have to fund their dreams. They compromise the structural integrity of their future, thinking that what they're working on is their penultimate magnum opus, when in actuality, it's just the first of many. The problem is they spend all of their savings, they spend all of their credit cards, max them out, they take out money from their 403Bs, their 401Ks, in hopes that their films or that their show will make it. And they think, okay, don't worry. All of the money that I shelled out and put out into that film is gonna come back to me. When in actuality, it couldn't be further from the truth. 80% of films created will lose money. And in Hollywood, 51% of those films lose money, while only 49% of those films make money. For indie filmmakers to succeed, we have to first hone our craft, and then we've got to learn how to operate like a movie studio. Would you rather have the ability to make one $15,000 film a year or make four $15,000 films each year and continue to make those films year by year by year by year? If you'd like to learn what I mean by all this, then definitely please hit that like button, because it'll help more individuals see videos like this, because if it's valuable to you, odds are it's valuable to many people. So please give this video a like and let's get started. Movie studios have reserves of cash, and they use that cash to make films, and they use those films to acquire the cash flow necessary for them to survive and thrive. Paramount, Disney, Marvel, MGM, and Warner Brothers not only rely on big budget tent poles to generate profits, they also generate revenue from theme parks, video games, and toys. In other words, they're diversifying their investments. Whoa, back up, Alan. What is a tentpole? It's those high-budget films that studios anticipate will make a lot of money. Tentpoles include films like Across the Spider-Verse, Dune Part 2, The Little Mermaid, Super Mario Bros., Dead Reckoning Part 1, Oppenheimer, Avatar: Way of Water, etc. The reason why studios continue to make these films is because it's a tentpole's job to keep the film studio alive, so that they can produce less profitable films like more of those Oscar-worthy dramas like Asteroid City, Killers of the Flower Moon, Past Lives, etc. Now, sometimes these films do turn a profit, but most times they don't, simply because they just don't get enough butts in seats due to the nature of the film and its content. So indie filmmakers like us have got to put ourselves in the studio head's position. How can we do that? We have got to make sure that first off, you are good as the business leader. You've got to make sure that you're financially fit so that you can start making smart filmmaking moves with your money. First, before we even consider the funding of our risky filmmaking projects, we've got to pay off all of our high interest debt first. That means all those credit cards paid. I recommend the debt snowball strategy. Pay off the smallest debt first and then work your way up to the biggest debt. Focus on paying off the lowest balance first to give yourself those small wins while you pay the minimums for the rest of the accounts. Then work your way towards the higher balances while paying the minimums on all the others, and so forth and so forth. Number two, you need to be sure that you have runway in your business, aka 3 months of savings in your savings account, so that you're not broke walking up to a bunch of investors on your last legs in this place of desperation. We've got to work up to build 3 months of expenses in our savings account in case you need to access that cash quickly, because you are the business. If your business has no stable foundation, it's going to crumble and you're going to drown and you're going to become something that you don't want to be for the rest of your life, and it's just not going to be cool. As indie filmmakers, let's get ourselves into a position of power and not desperation. Number three, open up a Roth IRA and work your way up to putting $500 a month away in that Roth IRA so that you can begin that wealth building process. Remember, as you're doing this, think to yourself, I'm going to be able to make 4 $15,000 shorts every single year for the rest of my life. And also, the entertainment industry is notorious for having some of the worst retirement plans and investment strategies on the face of the earth, because the whole landscape is predicated upon, I gotta make my million right now, right today, gotta make my million right now. And making that $1 million movie right now predicated upon the assumption that that $1 million movie is going to make a profit is unrealistic for the vast majority of the individuals watching this video, which is why, once again, that you get yourself into a position of power. What does that look like? It means that you can make one crappy film. Oh crap, blew $15,000 on that. It was crap, bad film. Okay, I'll just make my next one. Boom, okay, a little better. Boom, 15,000, okay, all right, okay, that's a lot better. Boom, okay, on my fourth $15,000 short, that short was like, okay, that short looked like something different. You get what I'm saying here? I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a filmmaker on YouTube, which is why I highly suggest you take a look at the book by J.L. Collins, A Simple Path to Wealth. It's really good. Here he discusses the importance of Vanguard's Total Stock Market Index Fund, VTSAX, and how making this simple investment year after year after year will compound and result in eventual wealth. Over the long haul, it will provide you with a large enough nest egg in order to utilize 4 or 5% of the total amount of the money in the investment account to live off of and also make your films. The 4% rule assumes that the stock market will return an average of over 4% a year. So if you're just pulling out 4% of the total investment, you're still gonna have all of your principal plus all of your interest, and you will have that money eternally until the day that you drop, because you're not taking too much money out so as to drain all of the principal and your investments. So first off, you've got to take the amount of money that you want to make per year and multiply that amount by 25. And that is the amount of money that you will both live off of and use to make your indie films in the future. So let's say you want to make $85,000 a year passively. This means that you will be able to live off of $65,000 to $70,000 and use $15,000 to $20,000 for your short films year after year after year. This gives you the ability to make one high budget short per year eternally. So $85,000 is the total amount we want to make passively per year in this example, times 25 equals $2,125,000. Sounds damn near impossible, doesn't it? Well, not really. Let's break it down. So we're gonna have 3 examples. First example is where we're gonna try to hit that goal in 30 years. Second example, we're gonna try to hit that goal in 20 years. Third example, we're gonna try to hit that goal in 10 years. All right, 30 year. Let's say you try to invest $970 a month into an ETF like VTI or VTSAX, which is essentially the entire stock market built into one stock. One is an ETF and one is a mutual fund. They both grow similarly. And you'll learn that past performance doesn't indicate future performance with stocks, but it's a solid assumption to make when we're dealing with these kinds of index funds. You managed to put $970 a month into VTI. Now, this particular stock has returned an average of 9.92% over the past 30 years. So when you punch these numbers into a compound interest calculator, you're going to get $2,100,000, which means you'll have $85,000 a year to live off of and also make your movies with. Let's move on to the 20-year example. Now let's assume you're able to invest an extremely aggressive $2,850 a month for the next 20 years. I know that's a lot. If you're able to invest that money from now until the end of that 20-year horizon, you're gonna reach that 2.1 million in 20 years. Now I know that that last example was a bit ridiculous because not many of us have just $3,000 to just throw into investments, but unfortunately math doesn't care about our emotions, it doesn't care about our filmmaking goals. 10 years from now, assuming the market has returned 12.28%, which is how much VTI has returned in the last 10 years, you'd have to invest a ridiculous $9,100 a month from now until the end of that 10-year period to reach that 2.1 million. Again, I urge you to definitely conduct your own research and definitely read A Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. Remember, a Roth IRA has a contribution limit, so you can only contribute about $6,000 a year into a Roth IRA. So if you want to invest more, you have to open a brokerage account or do a backdoor Roth, and those things, you can Google those things because I don't have enough time in this video to explain all that. And you can only pull that money out at 59 and a half years old. So if you wanted to access your money before 59 and a half years old, you have to open a brokerage account or utilize the Roth conversion ladder. These things, you'll have to Google them. Now, one thing to remember is that no investment is 100% guaranteed, but the more you educate yourself and the more you learn, the more you know what is in the realm of possibilities, and what isn't in the realm of possibilities. But this plan is geared towards putting yourself into a position of power. Now, this plan is not going to be the end-all be-all, right? This is just one of the very many strategies that we are utilizing to execute on all of our dreams that we have. This is just a part of putting yourself in that position of power. Because yes, we're assuming that you are honing your craft, you are writing, you are making films, you are making shorts, you are building your audience, you are connecting with industry professionals, pitching to investors along the way. You've got to remember, on this indie filmmaking journey, there is no silver bullet success. There's no one plan. Oh, you just got to do this one thing and everything go work your way. No, that's not how it works, unfortunately. When it comes to operating like a movie studio, you have various businesses and endeavors and products and investments that gets you the desired outcome that you want. It's a combination of different products and strategies that gets you that end goal. But it all starts with honing your craft and leveraging your skills and expertise to place yourself in a position of power. So if you'd like to learn more about this and how you can hone the craft of indie filmmaking along the way as well, definitely shoot me an email at allenprofilm@gmail.com. I'll also leave it in the description below. Be sure to catch my indie film on Amazon Prime, Tubi, Plex, and loads of other streaming platforms. And be sure to pick up a Clover key. It's a camera plate, screwdriver, and a bottle opener all in one. If you're an indie filmmaker, it's gonna come in handy. Help you kick back after a long day on set. It's always a pleasure talking to you guys. Until next time.